I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com podcast, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out other geeky podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 565 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This episode is recorded live on Thursday, July 11th, 2024, over at GonnaGeek.com/live. Or you can use our vanity URL of nerds.live that directs there too, because we've got stuff everywhere. My name is Chris. I am joined by one of the usual band of misfits, Mr. Anthony Bachman.
I am a nacho taco.
I thought you were a meat popsicle. I'm very confused.
Not today. It's too damn hot to be a meat popsicle.
Why can't you be a Choco Taco? Because I really miss the Choco Taco.
I was a fan of the Choco Taco. Those were good.
Now I'm saddened.
I was a meat popsicle. I'm now a barbecued slab of flank steak. I've been cooked.
You've been outside a lot, and it's hot out.
Pretty sure I have a sunburn, but I can't feel it yet. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow.
You see how you feel when you get in the shower next and the water's just a little cool, and you feel it go, oh.
Yeah, it might be a fun weekend, but at least I have downtime now. So
that is true. Speaking of downtime, we are back after our week away. For those that are paying attention, we did take last week off because it was the 4th of July here in the States where we recorded this show. And it didn't make sense to try and record the podcast at the same time because lots of people are having family events, cookouts, things like that. So I got to ask, did you have some good eats for the 4th of July there, Bachman?
We did, and for the first time ever, we did 4th of July here at the house. So we had all of Jana's family over, the brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, their parents. So yeah, Morris and Linda came over, and I cooked. So everybody brought sides and stuff, and I barbecued up hot dogs and brats first thing, and then put those in a crock pot, and then cooked up I think I ended up doing like 10 burgers because a lot of people just wanted brats and hot dogs. And then, cooked up like 10 burgers. And then, we had a big old spread. And our house isn't huge, but it was basically we had just enough room for everybody. And some of the nieces and nephews are indoor kids. So some of them were here in my den hanging out and watching TV and stuff. And then we had movies on in the living room. And then basically all the adults are out in the backyard. And we played volleyball. We, got a little game set that has, it's got the tennis balls, or not tennis balls, the golf balls that you throw that wrap around the bars.
The ladder game or whatever it is.
Yeah, the ladder game, the beanbag toss, and then it has the horseshoe rings, but they're plastic ones, which I hadn't seen before. But the wife picked that up, so we have a 3-in-1 gaming thing now. So it was nice. So, we set up big tents, and everybody brought chairs. We hung out, and then the kids all brought over fireworks, and we lit off a bunch of stuff, and then we watched our neighbors probably spend $3,000 to $4,000 on what they shot in the sky. And most of it, not only was it not legal in the state of Idaho, I'm pretty sure some of it wasn't legal for individual sale. Because, my neighbor had a couple of things where he was actually, he wasn't doing it at his house or in the street. So he was trying to be safe. But he was walking out into the park, and there's a little cement slab that goes out where they can access the sprinkler system or whatever. And so he was going out into that slab and lighting off from there. And more than once, I think maybe 3 times, he had a firework that lit off, went up, and when it exploded, it was so big it hit the ground.
Oh, jeez.
The actual radius of the sparks were where it was exploding all the way to the ground after the distance it had just traveled. So,
I was going to say you got a nice free show out of it, but after hearing, I don't know that you did get as nice a free show because you've got to worry about your neighbor lighting your house on fire.
I was a little worried. And then, we, day before, day after, kind of a given 4th of July, especially, out in Idaho, out in the boonies. We still hear shotguns usually on 4th of July and New Year's. But we had some jackass in our neighborhood, one street over, that was setting off fireworks at 11 p.m. on, I think, the night of the 7th. I'm like, no, dude, it's past like when you're supposed to be legally making noise at night, and it's 3 days later.
Dude,
we had shot that shit off already.
We had some asshole doing it on like the 6th or the 7th, and I will call them an asshole because it was 3:30 in the goddamn morning.
Whoa, yeah. I thought our guy was bad.
Up, and I was like, what the hell's going on? I was like, those are God damn
fireworks. Yeah.
I was like, why?
Yeah. Day before, day of, day after. Yeah, go nuts on July 5th. I mean, we know you still got fireworks left. Okay, whatever. July 7th and 8th, fuck you. You're an asshole, and you deserve to have to call it on
and you. F you if you're doing it at like 3 a.m, too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought our guy was bad. I was
morning. You're just dick.
I was going to try to remember. I think maybe it was like the night of the 6th. They were doing a bunch of them, and then we think our neighbors called the cops on them for a noise ordinance, and so we were pretty sure that they got the cops called on them, and the cop came and talked to them because the following night, like one very loud bottle rocket went off at 9:59. So it's like, oh, motherfucker did that just to prove a point. It's like, oh, it's not 10 yet. A bang. It's like, all right, yeah, you're a dick. So yeah, but yeah, it was a good safe 4th of July. None of the kids lost any fingers. We set off all the fireworks. Nothing got caught on fire. Not even the burgers. So it was a good one. How did you guys do?
So we cheaped out and we're lazy. I didn't really want to cook. And one of our favorite places in town is a little barbecue joint that's probably 10 minutes down the road in our downtown area called BC Mac. And I went online, and I'll screen share this for anyone who's watching on video so you can see for yourself. Saw that they were doing a little 4th of July festivity, their rock and roll barbecue special, where they added a bunch of things to the menu, like a smash burger that they normally don't have, Wagyu brisket.
Hey,
we'll come back to that in a second.
Damn
all
right.
Beef hot dogs, smoked sausages, a deviled egg potato salad, and caramel apple cobbler on top of some new barbecue sauces. Now, why I mentioned the Wagyu brisket, because this is that Wagyu brisket right here. It is delicious. My wife got the Wagyu brisket sandwich and let me try some of it, and it was friggin' amazing, I might add. Just delicious.
I didn't know Wagyu brisket was a thing. Damn.
I didn't either. And the interesting thing was, I guess on the 3rd of July, I had gotten done with work a little early because we had given us 2 hours of admin leave, and I'd gone to the grocery store. And I was in the grocery store. I wasn't paying attention. I'm going down the aisle. It's got like the ketchup and barbecue sauces and salad dressings in it. And I look up all of a sudden, and it's John, the guy that owns BC Mac. He's like, hey, Chris, how's it going? I'm like, holy crap, I haven't seen you in a while. And he started talking. He goes, yeah, I got to be at the store at 7 a.m. so I can start the brisket so that it's all ready by the time the doors open at 3. So this brisket, this Wagyu brisket, smoked for at least 8 hours.
Oh,
yeah. It was totally worth. I don't remember what it cost because it was market price, because you're talking Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
I don't eat beef very often because I'm not supposed to, as my doctor tells me, but I certainly made sure that I got a taste of it, and holy cow, that Wagyu brisket was fantastic. Myself, I got the smoked sausages that were really good. You got 2 smoked sausages that had been marinated and cooked in an IPA, a citrus IPA. So it was really good. Okay. And then I tried it with the deviled egg potato salad side, because I do like deviled eggs and I like a little bit of potato salad, and that too was really good. So we cheated. We went downtown to one of our favorite places in town to eat, local small business, and we patronized small business for 4th of July. And I guess the good news for them, they were talking about on their Facebook page that the 4th of July was the busiest day they've had since they moved to this new location. So they were slammed all day, it sounds like, which good for them, man, because they make good food, and I love it.
Yeah. And that day probably paid for, like, helped them pay for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
The way some restaurants work. You gotta have a really good day every once in a while.
I wager things were tough for them for a while, because I think they opened a little before the pandemic. And then and they soldiered through the pandemic. Like, I found them during one of the Super Bowls during it, because they were doing a chicken wing special, and their old store location was like 5 minutes from my house. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll go get some wings for the Super Bowl. And then I was like, man, these guys are 5 minutes from my house. They've got food that's this good. And I started just going there a lot.
Nice. We keep trying to find a nice place near us, but it's, the Meridian area is like growing where we live, but it's not like restaurant. It's, like they put a Wendy's in down the road. We got a Zupa's. It's like, no, I want like a neighborhood diner. Like that's
Yeah.
what I want. I need to find a place like that. So we're still looking. We're still looking.
Yeah. Those are always best way to find is look at places that are just opening up on Google Maps and stuff like that. And then you can find some cool places to try.
Yeah,
I go on Google Maps way too often though. I'll be honest.
We did get us a Wiener Schnitzel.
I don't have a Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah, they just opened up one of those just down the street from our house, which we had to try it because like both me and Jana both loved Wiener Schnitzel growing up. Like it was good, but it's like it's just a hot dog at a fast food place.
Yep.
Like wasn't losing our minds over it, but it was tasty.
Man, what was the name of the hot dog place they used to have on bases? I can't remember, but there was a place that was pretty much just like a hot dog place. It wasn't a Wiener Schnitzel, but I remember growing up going on base and stuff like that, and there was always the hot dog place. Especially when we were overseas too, because that was about the only way you could get a American hot dog and not like a good sausage.
I was going to ask, are you sure it wasn't just because it was when you were at the German base?
Well, I mean, it was the base in Germany, but it was the American one where it was Little America. That's where I got my Taco Bell as a kid when we lived overseas, because Taco Bell not really big in Europe. So anytime we'd go to the base, that was always Dad and I were going to Taco Bell to eat.
Yeah, I mean,
food court.
The different branches must have different contracts. Because the only food we ever had on base, like there was a club on base in Great Lakes and a theater, but there wasn't any restaurants because there was a giant cafeteria for the naval base because it's just huge. But then in San Diego, they had like a Del Taco on base down from the bar.
There's a lot of Burger Kings on the Air Force bases as a kid, I remember, and then like. A lot of the ones with a BX or a PX on site had a food court attached to it that would always have like a Burger King, an Anthony's Pizza, and then insert random other things here. So we had a lot of Anthony's Pizza too when we were overseas, because when we lived in Europe, if you want an American style pizza, you don't find that as easily because ours are just terrible. Yeah, Ernesto's saying they had a Burger King in the Air Force Base. Yeah, when I graduated from high school, we lived on base in Alabama. We had a Burger King literally right next to the commissary.
Nice.
I think Burger King has a big contract with the military. Hell, we had and Popeyes too.
I miss that Del Taco because they brought Del Taco up here from California. It is definitely not the same. Like the menu's not the same, nothing. But leaving the Club Metro at the San Diego Naval Base at 2 a.m. in the morning, stumbling down the pier to your ship, and you go right past the Del Taco, and it's still open. It's like, I'll take a breakfast burrito. Let's go.
Nice. Yeah, I've only ever been to Del Taco once, and that's when I was out in California for work in the middle of the desert. And I was like, I'm going to Del Taco while I'm here. I was like, okay, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's still probably the best breakfast burrito I ever had. And they had one that was just like, it was like the basic, but it was like a 1 pound burrito, but it was just egg, cheese, and steak. Like nothing else is in there, just a tortilla around meat, cheese, and egg. Like perfect.
The thing I miss was when we lived in Oklahoma, there was a taco joint that was American style tacos too. So like Taco Bell style food. It was called Senor Bueno. And I just, it always entertained me. I think it was
good.
Yeah. I don't think it was much outside of Oklahoma. I think it was like a local chain versus, like national chains and stuff like that. Because I don't ever recall seeing one outside of Oklahoma when we were there. But it was entertaining. They had funny commercials. And I'll look and see if I can find some of the dumb commercials they had on YouTube, because everything's on YouTube anymore. But yeah, that was a fun one too. Senor Bueno.
I remember we stopped at a place and I went out to my buddy's for his 30th birthday after I left the Navy, and I think it was called Super Burrito. It was in San Jose, California, and they straight up stole just like the Superman logo and Superman, and they just recolored the outfit. Like they didn't even like change the artwork, and they just called it Super Burrito. And he took me there. He's like, it's the best Mexican food I've ever had, and it was damn good. I think I ate 2 burritos that day for lunch, and like they were both too big, like they were huge, and like nope, it's like I'm not giving up. I'm eating this. It's too good to not eat, and I ended up making myself sick.
And
it was delicious.
You made me think of something talking about Superman that I'll discuss in the news of the week real quick.
All right,
it just popped in my head though. So while I'm thinking about it, why don't we transition our way over into the news of the week?
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Welcome to the news of the week. It is that part of the show We run down in our mind what is in our minds, rather. Some of the most interesting geeky and or nerdy news to have popped up here in the past week or so, and share it with you fine folks live. And why I said that Superman and comics popped something into my head, it's because I was scrolling through the Reddit this afternoon after I got done with work, and I saw something about leaked program from San Diego Comic-Con shows that DC Comics is entering into some kind of partnership with All Elite Wrestling. So are we ready for AEW Comics? I don't know. I don't know what this means, or if they're going to do like variant covers with AEW wrestlers on it or something like that. But it could be. Interesting. And it makes sense because remember, they have a TV contract with Warner Discovery. Warner Discovery owns DC Comics. So it is technically brand synergy if they do that. And arguably might be a good sign that, hey, they're going to still have a TV contract with Warner Discovery when all is said and done. But I know years ago we had WWE Comics where they made like an Undertaker horror superhero kind of thing. That was really strange. Like there was an issue number 0 that came bundled in Wizard magazine. That's the whole reason I remember it.
Yeah, I was trying to remember where it was. I think Boom was the last place that they did like the weird, like creepy Undertaker comic. Because there's been WWF and WWE comics over the years with different like smaller publishers. I don't think they ever did anything big with like Marvel or anything. No, it's hard to remember. But yeah, like I remember some weird wrestling comics back in the day.
So here is the exact blurb that came out from San Diego Comic-Con. Let's see. San Diego Comic-Con 2024 will kick off from the City in Motion on July 25th and run until July 28th. AEW will make its presence felt at the event with a panel on July 25th. A description for AEW's Ride Inside the Ring and Beyond reads, after a record-setting attendance inside Wembley Stadium in their biggest year ever, All Elite Wrestling continues to rise from the seeds of a wrestling revolution sown in 2019 to a powerhouse global phenomenon that's now home to some of the biggest wrestling names. This year, Comic-Con will be the intersection of major announcements across different fandoms, including a DC Comics partnership and an Adult Swim on-the-ground brand integration. In the celebration of their 5-year anniversary, AEW stars Swerve Strickland, Timeless Tony Storm, Will Ospreay, Orange Cassidy, Britt Baker, and Darby Allin take you inside the rope for an all-access look at the evolution from a renegade upstart to one of the most watched weekly programs on television. So what this DC Comics partnership isn't really stated, but kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, I'm also biased because I watch AEW, but people have had comments, professional wrestling, not that big a thing, but we're getting a lot of crossover with professional wrestling, and not just AEW, not just WWE, into other brands and other products. So I'm curious to see where they go with it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something they could do some fun stuff with it too. I mean, comics, you can tell any type of story you want. And so, yeah, like you said, with like that weird Undertaker one from Boom, like they're like, crazy demonic supernatural storytelling. So like they could go nuts. Wrestling comics are hardly ever wrestling comics. It's usually something else. And so it's the character being put into like a different world or something. So, I mean, yeah, let them go nuts. Like they could do some crazy stuff with it, and it gets more eyes on wrestling, possibly gets a couple more kids to read comic books. That's all good things.
Could just be something as simple as some like AEW variant covers or something like that, which could be cool because that'll bring in wrestling collectors to comics at least, and maybe some of them hang around because, well, I don't know. Some of them might just buy them just to have the cover. Some of them might buy them and then read the comics. Who knows? But you have an interesting potential for some crossover there. And hey, comic books are fun. The more people that get into them, the better for everyone.
I mean, I definitely say DC could they'll bare minimum do variant covers. Like this is the company that 1 month put a giant face on every comic book they put out that month.
That's a fair point.
Like they do weird covers at DC, so they'll probably do something cool with the AEW stuff. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if I'll put another DC book on my pull list, but I might go buy one or two at the shop.
I mean, my pull list is relatively small nowadays, but I could probably call my local comic shop or get a hold of them and be like, hey, just for this month, I want to be able to pull these if there was something that was interesting.
I don't know. I think I talked about Amazing Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. This is the smallest my pull list has been since I started it in 2002. I get 3 books monthly.
I think mine's Ultimate Spider-Man, Doctor Who for my wife, and I think there's 1 or 2 other books that I was reading. Although I did catch up on a lot of the Iron Man stuff from the X-Men Krakoa stuff, and that was pretty interesting because they had a trade paperback sale in Kindle.
Nice.
I know.
I'll start picking up some more books digitally again.
It's just convenient when you can catch a sale. Like, you can't beat those prices, which I know sucks for local comic shops, which is part of the reason why I at least maintain some presence at my local comic, because local comic shops are good for everyone. Keep them going.
Yep. I mean, it's one of the reasons I haven't killed my pull list. It's like I'm probably almost to the point where I could just say, you know what? When Amazing Spider-Man hits 1,000, I'm done. Because I will have literally, I think, 500 through 1,000. So I'll have 500 issues.
Well, they're going to put out at least 3 more number ones between now and 1,000, I'm sure.
More than likely, yeah. I'll probably have 6 number ones during that 500 issue run. I shouldn't have any, but I'll have 6.
You'll have like 6 of them.
Motherfuckers. It's one of the reasons I want to stop. They're killing me.
So we were saying comics are good. What else is good?
Yeah.
That would be video games, my friends. And I saw an interesting story here, and it kind of follows up on something that was announced back in June. So for background, in June on the 27th, Microsoft and Amazon announced a cloud gaming partnership, allowing users on select Amazon Fire TV sticks to play Xbox games without a console. Effectively, you'd be playing the cloud version of those games, so you'd have to have a Game Pass subscription and whatnot. But I think it was you had to have Game Pass Ultimate, a Fire TV Stick 4K Max or Fire TV Stick 4K, and a Bluetooth controller of some kind you could pair with it. Now, on June 27th, when that was announced, we didn't know when it was coming out. Well, on July 9th, this past Monday, the Xbox TV app officially landed on Amazon Fire TV sticks. So if you're someone who was wanting to give that a try and you have Xbox Game Pass and maybe have some Fire TV sticks plugged in throughout the house, now is your chance to be like, well, the kids are playing video games down on the big screen. I would still want to be able to play something. I'm going to go and hook it up to my Fire TV stick and play up there. And you can play in 2 rooms. Also, a nice tie in here for Bachman, I know you like playing Fortnite with the family. Fortnite is a game you can play on Game Pass streaming. So in theory, you could have a bunch of Xboxes in the house and a bunch of 4K Amazon Fire TV sticks and be able to play yourselves some Fortnite as a big group. So
that's not
I don't
bad.
think this isn't a major story or anything like that. I just think it's pretty cool that it's finally out, and it kind of gets us moving forward in something that we'd all theorized is, hey, if you can cloud stream these games, why isn't Microsoft just putting an app on all of these different things? And now they are. It's available on Samsung TVs. It's available on Fire TV sticks. People have side loaded it on their Android TV devices. Now, when we get an official release, who knows? But we're getting there. We're getting to the point where in Microsoft's world, they don't necessarily care if you buy the hardware as much as if you get a subscription and use their hardware to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, they just want you to have an Xbox account.
And I'll say this as someone who has dabbled in various cloud gaming things. I've dabbled with Stadia. I've played around with GeForce streaming and things like that. The Xbox implementation of game streaming is one of the better ones that I've played with, but they also, at least on streaming on a PC or a Mac right now, they're only pushing like 720p, not 4K or something like that. I think there were plans to increase that and whatnot. So it looks pretty good, but the key is I found it to be pretty responsive. I haven't been sitting there and noticing like noticeable lag between when I pull the trigger and when I see something occur on screen. For the most part, it's been a pretty solid gaming experience. And I've played a variety of different games that are available on Game Pass through a web browser on my computer or on my laptop, or hell, I think I even tried it on my iPad at one point in time too, just because I was curious how well it would work. And it works pretty well. So I think you're starting to see what Microsoft thinks is the future of things, which is sign up for an account with us. We have the hardware. We've got a big back catalog of games, and you can play them here. And the timing is also interesting on this too, because I don't know the full story in it because I didn't pay attention, I fully admit. But the price for Game Pass is shifting, and they added another tier, I guess. And the new tier gives you not day one releases on new games that they get there. You get them like 6 months down the road, but it would be cheaper. So if you've got a big back catalog on Game Pass, I could see where that might be compelling. But I honestly didn't pay a ton of attention, and not because I'm fanboying out or anything, but because every Black Friday I buy like 2 years worth of Game Pass prepaid cards and redeem them. So I honestly don't pay attention to what the regular price of Game Pass is, because I just buy it on Black Friday and stack it.
I used to do that for the PlayStation Network, but as you talked about, you don't have to have a PlayStation Essential even to play Fortnite. Fuck 'em.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't think you even have to have it for Xbox now, too. I think Fortnite you can just play.
Yeah. Yeah, which I love the fact that they were like they made that one cross-platform, cross-play, and you don't have to be paying for the service to connect to the internet you're already paying for.
Yeah, I don't disagree. so that's my big news story was on the app on the Fire TV stick, and then I meandered around and talked about some Game Pass prices, and then talked about professional wrestling and comics because it's a crossover of two things I like. So my news of the week was like 3 mini newses of the week, I guess.
That works.
What do you got for us, though, sir?
Well, I'm seeing the bad news, and I have the good news, so I will just mention the bad news real quick. So I just saw that we lost Shelley Duvall.
Oh no,
so I was like,
I missed that.
Shit, yeah. So for those that don't know, more than likely you know her as the wife from The Shining. You may also know her as Olive Oil from the Popeye movie with Robin Williams.
Is that why I saw the Popeye movie on the front page of my Google TV when I loaded it?
Could be.
They were showing Popeyes on like Tubi or something. I was like,
yeah,
who gives a shit about Popeye right now? And that would probably explain it.
Yeah. So, another fantastic actress lost. Like, so sad. But I do have the good news. So I wanted to get to this. So we have a Hollywood Reporter article from Pamela McClintock from yesterday. Box office milestone. Inside Out 2 becomes Pixar's top grossing movie of all time globally. It has just passed Incredibles 2 to land at, number 4 on the list of biggest animated movies ever, and it won't end there. Says in the article, it's an emotional day for Pixar and parent company Disney. On Wednesday, Inside Out 2 passed up Incredibles 2 at 1.242 billion to become the top grossing Pixar title of all time at the worldwide box office, not adjusted for inflation. That puts it at number 4 on the overall list of top grossing animated films, and the climb is far from done, meaning it could ultimately outrank number 1. So this may be the movie that dethrones Frozen. Walt Disney's within days of overtaking Walt Disney's Animation's Frozen 1.274 billion, and it's virtually assured of jumping Illumination and Universal's The Super Mario Brothers movie, 1.361 billion. Whether it can overtake Frozen 2, which is at the top, is 1.451 billion, and take the number 1 crown is the biggest question. So Inside Out 2 is the biggest Pixar movie of all time. What is really sad, though, is seeing that list of the top 4 is that I can't believe neither of the Spider-Verse movies are in that list. Because those did so well, but apparently they did.
Just indicative of how powerful Pixar has been.
Yeah, but just crazy. But yeah, so congratulations to that whole crew, and God, I hope they're getting some profit sharing. Disney, quit screwing over your animators. Everything you have is based on people making stuff. Yeah, I know, but I'm still gonna say it. Yeah, so what was it? Crossing Billion Club. Yeah, and it's also it's the fastest animated movie to $1 billion. And from the looks of it, it may be the first movie that has a shot at dethroning Frozen 2, which is the most money-making animated film of all time. Like, hell yeah. Go Pixar. Like, that's just awesome. So, I just want to do something nice and sweet and good news this week.
We like some good news.
Yeah.
Normally, we would have also had a Willie Do report this week, I assume, but I apologize. I buried the lead at the top of the show. Willie's not feeling well this week, so he was unable to make the show. So if you still use the old Bird app, you can hit him up at South Porky, send him your best wishes. I think he might use Instagram with that same handle, so you can feel free to hit him up there. He does not have a Threads account to hit him up with, because I've tried, and it just points to his Instagram. I'm like, Willie, get on the Threads. That's where the fun stuff is anymore. Or at least less toxic stuff.
Yeah, I think he has South Porky on Instagram. I'm not sure how often he uses it. But
you're better off going to Rugs by Willie Nelson.
I was gonna say there's Rugs by Willie on Instagram.
That's what it is. Rugs by Willie.
Would he answered? He'll answer to that one if you like one of his rug posts.
Oh,
it's out there making.
I was
Homer
just
Simpson
looking
rugs
for the picture right there to be able to bring that up, because
nice.
Willie's not here to toot his own horn, but I did want to show off for those who are watching the video stream live or might be checking it out at a later date some of the stuff that Willie had going on. And this shows you how often I don't use Instagram, because I have a hard time finding the damn search button.
That is pretty bad.
Rugs by Willie Nelson is what it was. And now that this is properly working, I will screen share with you fine folks watching the video feed. This is Willie's most recent commission that he had done, I believe, for one of the members of the Gonna Geek Discord server. Nice. For those that are on audio only, it is a Homer Simpson rug where Homer's sitting at the bar at Moe's with a beer in front of him and looking over his shoulder to the left. It's really cool, and I have no idea how long it took Willie to make this. But this is one of Willie's commissions that he did for someone. So impressive work.
Yeah, it must take a while. Yeah, it looks really good, and he nailed like the line work. I was like, why do my brain is failing me?
You've only worked an 11-hour day and then come home and podcasted.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a day. It's been a day. But yeah, it looks really good. And yeah, and then he had the hard part of having to do like white in between the hairs on Homer's head because you can't just have a line of hair going up. So having to do the fill-in spaces, that's always tough. He made it look good. Like,
Willie's done some pretty good rugs.
Kicks ass. Yeah, he's weirdly talented as a rug maker.
Yeah, if you want to go check out Willie's work or potentially talk to him about getting a rug made, Instagram.com/rugs by Willie Nelson. That is his Instagram page for all the different things he's been doing. You can see a variety of different products that Willie's been working on for commissions. And some of it, I think, just for fun, is he is learning more about how to make rugs. He's talented. I wish I had the ability to be crafty. I don't. Crafts is outside my wheelhouse, guys. I apologize.
You got to hear crafting podcasts.
Yeah. Crafting away on that front. But I have been getting into some other stuff. We'll transition. Like I said, quick show this week just because life is getting in the way of things a little bit. We'll finish up the show with a little segment called What I'm Into. It's when we share with you guys the geeky and nerdy stuff we get into because you may want to check it out yourselves. And I guess I should start first and say I was weak. I did something that I had kind of not thought I was going to do, but there's a Discord server I'm on that's all about like West Virginia University sports and things like that. And people have been getting real excited for football season and real excited for the return of a game that we haven't had since 2012, I think it is.
What'd you buy?
Coming out next week is EA Sports College Football Returns. I may have pre-ordered that and already have it downloaded on my Xbox, waiting for it to be playable because we're going to have a couple different dynasty leagues on that Discord server where everyone's going to be able to play together and talk shit and things like that. And if there's one thing I really loved when I was younger is I play the Madden games occasionally. By that, I mean, I pick one up every 3 or 4 years, but they come to Game Pass now at the end of the season. So I just play them on Game Pass when they come out. I pre-ordered the NCAA football game. God damn it, EA has probably got my money, and hopefully they've actually earned it this time. But I'm really looking forward to doing some online dynasty mode stuff with some friends I've made in this sports Discord server. The only thing I need to figure out is whether online dynasty will do cross-play across Xbox and PlayStation Network. Because probably 2/3 of the people on that Discord server who got the game are PlayStation gamers. The other third, roughly, are Xbox gamers. So I'm not sure if we can do online dynasties across like that or not. I don't know.
Or if it's going to have to be split up per console.
I think we may end up having two dynasties going on. One that's the Xbox dynasty and one that's the PlayStation dynasty. And I think it might be coming out on Switch, but I don't know that I'd want to play this game on Switch because it looks like it could churn on current gen consoles, and the Switch is like half a gen back, I guess is the best way of putting it. So I'm not sure how smoothly it would run on there if it is actually coming out there.
Yeah, that may be problematic to try to do it on a Switch.
I do know PC gamers are bummed because it's not coming out for PC.
What? They're not doing a Madden on or NCAA on PC?
Okay, I misspoke. I just double checked for myself on this because as I was sitting there discussing it, I was like, why would this be coming out on Switch? It's not. Someone was just wrong in the Discord server. It's PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, it appears.
But not PC?
But not PC. Weird. Well, I guess in theory, if it's part of EA Play at some point in time, you could cloud stream it on a PC.
Yeah, just play it on your PC.
Through Xbox, but it's not going to be available cloud streaming on day one. So I don't know. It seems kind of like an oversight to me. But thinking about it though, Madden doesn't come out on PC. Madden does just fine. Most of these sports games are console only.
Oh, I guess I thought Madden did come out on PC.
I think it did many years ago, but I
Yeah.
don't know how often it does now.
I don't know if I've ever actually bought a Madden game, so I played.
I mean, I
don't know
have
if I ever
but
bought one.
I mean, they kind of coast on Madden. So I did pre-order that. I believe that is Tuesday is when I'll be able to play that. So I will probably be playing some college football, trying to win the national championship with the West Virginia University Mountaineers starting on Tuesday because I trust the climb. I trust the climb, damn it. What can I say?
I guess Trust to Climb makes more sense than Blue Turf. So
Ernesto says he has a PS5, but I need another reason to jump back into Xbox. I've got both. It's just I prefer to play on Xbox.
yeah,
So I probably should have asked the folks in the Discord server which one they were getting it for. But I also get a discount on EA games because EA's streaming service is folded into Game Pass, and that gives me 10% off on EA game purchases. So
there
I
you
saved 10% off buying it on Xbox, and I don't know. I prefer if Willie were here, we'd get into the same argument again. This is notorious. I prefer the Xbox controller to the PlayStation controller, and Willie gives me a hard time that I would choose to buy a console because I like the controller more.
It's because you got big mitts. I got these little tiny dainty fingers. I like my PS5 controller.
Let's also keep in mind I have all three of the current gen consoles. Now, caveat, I won my PlayStation. I did not pay for it. I won it in a giveaway. But I was probably going to buy one to play Spider-Man 2. I'll be honest here. I was probably going to be weak.
Your PlayStation is a Blimphausen.
It is. I mean, it's just a Spider-Man machine. I think, and I have a Final Fantasy game that I picked up for it that I haven't started playing yet because I've mentioned on this show many times, guys, I'm a casual gamer now. I've realized those days of come straight home from work and play games until bed.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen anymore. It's come home from work, cook some dinner, clean some dishes, clean up around the house, play a game for an hour if I'm lucky, then go to bed because I'm almost 40 and I'm old and boring.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Black Friday sale for Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man 2, the game. Because, yeah, that's one where it's like, I don't need it right now. I'll get it when it's $20.
Yeah,
and I'll play the hell out of it.
I'm like 2/3 of the way through my New Game Plus playthrough on that one. It's great. I love it.
Nice.
I love it. What else have I been getting into? God, I don't know. I played some Skull and Bones recently with my dad. They've been having weird server issues. Again, Skull and Bones is one of those games that if I wasn't playing with my dad, I wouldn't be playing it. Let's just put it that way. And then because I was bored this weekend and I didn't know what I wanted to play, and we just talked about it the previous show, I fired up Anthem because it's part of Game Pass, because it's part of the EA thing, just to see how busy it was.
Yeah.
So I fired it up and I got into the main world. I didn't remember how to do anything, is what I realized when I launched a mission. And I was like, join mission. And I was like, let's see who this puts me into a game with, because it's just join a random one that was out there. And it drops me in the game with my level 37, whatever, pilot and armor and everything that's like OP as shit, for lack of a better term. And the one dude is level 3, the other dude is level 5, and the other dude is level 2. And I was like, oh shit.
So what you're saying is I should fire up Anthem on my PS5 and go play with these kids that are now on Xbox.
You'll feel like God when you drop into that game, because
with all my max level pilots.
Yeah. These guys have and this is not me game shaming. It's just, this is the way it matchmaking for me, is like, these guys are just starting out playing the game because they probably saw it was on streaming, or they picked it up on sale for like $4 or $5 to try it for themselves. So they're just starting, and they've got like the base weapons, they've got the base gear, and I'm dropping in a pilot that I've put probably 100 hours into specking out the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
It's got like ridiculous weapons that I've unlocked all the capabilities on, and they've got like the first power you learn in guns. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, explosion, wall. Because I can't remember the character class I was doing, but it's the one that has like the cloak over its shoulder that can hover a lot more, that, for lack of a better term, is analogous to like a mage class, basically.
Like the Storm, I think, maybe
something like that.
Yeah.
But the way I'm specced out, like, I don't use my guns. I just sit back at a distance and I use all my powers, because I've specced that character with things that all of my abilities recharge so fast that I never have to use a gun. So I'm sitting back there using like my left bumper button, when you hold that down, it puts like a sphere on screen that you can move around that basically is an explosion inside it. So I'm just spamming that. And then when something gets close, I'm doing like a fireball that I throw at them. And then when they start to get overwhelmed, I have an ability, if I hit both the bumpers, that gives me like a wall of flame that I put down that I can shoot through and enemies can't come through. So like all the enemies are stuck behind this and I'm just like, blow them up, 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 blow them up.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
great.
Yeah. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, man, I kind of wanted, and I just played for like 20 minutes. I dropped in a couple to see what was going on. I was like, I need to go and see what events are going on where their matchmaking would arguably pair you with people who are more aligned spec wise and see how that would go. I mean, because it's fun, but all the people on like the Anthem subreddit, like Anthem 2.0 is going to happen. I'm like, no, dude. EA scrapped that 2 years ago. Anthem 2.0 is not happening. Just enjoy this game until they shut the servers down.
I use my luck in other places. I'm not getting Anthem 2.0.
It's still fun enough when you go in there, but the problem was when that game launched, it was not good, and the load times were also long, and it crashed a lot. So you'd spend a bunch of time in matchmaking trying to get a game, then the game would crash, then you'd go back into matchmaking where you'd be stuck for a long time before you get back in. And I understand why people at launch were like, nah, man, this ain't it, because the lack of polish made it painful to play. Like, I picked it up and started playing it because I think I bought my copy, a physical copy at GameStop when they were doing one of those sales when it was like $4.
And here I was buying multiple like master editions pre-order.
Yeah, you got burned a little bit there.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on that game. But yeah, I have like a Juggernaut tank javelin that like has all the flamethrowers in the world. It's fun, but Anthem cost me a pretty penny.
Yeah. I get it, man. But that's what I've been getting into, just kind of dabbling around with video games. Had some fun 4th of July fun we talked about at the top of the show. Let me toss things to you, Bachman. What you been getting into?
Well, as we mentioned, I've been getting tired because I have a new job. And so I switched over to something where I'm going to be working 4 10s a week, but because we were on HR's schedule on Monday, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I worked 3 11s. So it has been a long 4 days. And then I had good and bad news. Sadly, one of my favorite things that I owned was my iPad, because I bought my iPad with the money I made from doing the artwork for the Pacifist card game that you guys might remember, the Kickstarter. So my payment...
I do indeed.
Yeah, the check that I got paid for that after doing all the artwork, I used that to buy my iPad. And so it's like, hey, my comic book machine that I read all my digital comics on was paid for, with artwork I made. Like, that was awesome. Well, sadly, my iPad finally died.
Oh no!
And so I got, and ridiculously, I think I spent like $1,000, $800 plus on that thing, and like we literally went to the store and picked up a new iPad. What is it, 10 or whatever? But so I have a brand new iPad. It was only $350. It's slightly larger than the one I had, so the screen's already bigger. It's like, all I do is read comics and play Tacticus on it. I don't need a massive hard drive. I was a little sad to see like they only you have to get a 64 or the 256. There's no more 128s because, of course, they want more of your money. It's like, oh, you want a bigger hard drive? We're going to charge you for it. Yeah. But picked it up. Super simple. It's nice. I love it. Got everything switched over to it real fast. But like it was sad to see the old one go, but like I give it to Apple, had them recycle it. But I was like, oh man, I paid for that with artwork money. Like, oh, that was a good one. So I got my new iPad to play on, and then me and Jan have been playing at least like one game of Catan on PlayStation 5 basically every night since we got it. That game's just fun as hell, even on digital, which I really wish they just did a couple of patches. I wish you could go in and like make any kind of change. There's almost nothing you can alter. You can't change what buttons do what on the controllers. You can't change. You can't change any of the game rules. I was like, give me an option to go in and turn the robber off. Just no robber at all. Just change it and play a different style of the game. But it's still it's super fun. And I think last night, like I was super tired, she was tired. And I think in the one match we played against 2 computer opponents, so there was 4 of us playing. The computer beat all 3 of us. So like when the computer wins, it's like, okay, we're tired. We need to go to bed. And other than that, yeah, we've been watching a little bit of Shark Week, though sadly, we're watching it on, I think it's called Philo. So yeah, we've been watching on there, and John Cena is supposed to be the host, but all like the interstitial cut in, cut outs are apparently only on Max Discovery. So we've watched 3 nights of Shark Week, and I've yet to see John Cena.
This is dumb that they're doing that.
He's not actually in any of the episodes, and so apparently they're doing all of the cutscenes with him when the other program or the other software options are running commercials. So you don't get to see the quote-unquote host, which I thought was kind of a good joke. It's like, damn, John Cena, I can't see him. Like, he's invisible. Like, he didn't even show up to host the show that he's hosting. And then, yeah, what I will be getting into tomorrow, I got someone that's coming this. I'm selling my stand-up X-Men versus Street Fighter arcade game, and I'll be rolling that cash over on Saturday because me and my nephew are splitting Skaven Tide, and that arrives after the pre-order. I think it's Saturday morning. Yeah, so should be picking up that this week and splitting that with him. I'm doing the Stormcast, and my nephew he gets the Rat Boys, and so yeah. With it being called Skaven Tide, yeah, it's very much the starter box for AOS 4th edition. It's all about the new Sigmar. I was going to say Sigmarines, the new Stormcast Eternals, which are referred to as the Sigmarines because they're kind of the poster boys of Age of Sigmar, just like the Ultramarines are the poster boys for Warhammer. But then, yeah, the other half is the Skaven, which is the rats from the fantasy world. And they have some cool looking ones, including he gets one of the units I'm a little jealous of. He gets the Rattling Gun. It's a bunch of rats.
Like wordplay.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of rats on a big machine. It's like 2 of them pushing it, and one of them's like cranking the barrels. And it's a big old rattling gun. It's just cool looking. But yeah, so that's what I'll be doing this weekend. And recovering.
Yeah, you've had a long week. Take some time for yourself to rest and recover.
And it wouldn't be that bad if it hadn't been, like I said, it was 104 today, 108 yesterday, and like I'm working outside now. So, I have a feeling this has got to go. I think I'm keeping the beard, but yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be haircut day.
I guess the real question though is, are you going to enjoy it more when it's hot out or when it's cold as hell out?
For me, probably cold as hell out, even if it's freezing. Like we have the right equipment for it. So it's like, unless I'm actually like hosing something down in December, which that would suck. Like the work I was doing today would suck if it was December, but I spent most of the day basically, running a fire hose, cleaning something off. That was pretty nice in 104-degree weather. Got too hot, just kind of shoot the fire hose up in the air and then go back to what you're doing.
Yeah. Plus, there's also the simple fact of the matter of you can always put more layers on. Exactly. For work, there's certainly a point where it becomes no longer socially acceptable to take layers off.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't have them yet, but we have uniforms at the job. So yeah, you have stuff you have to wear. And yeah, of course, and for me, yeah, it's a safety issue too. So like, yeah, you have to be covered. It's like, yeah, when it's the middle of the summer and it's hot and you're down to your boxers and you can't get your AC to work enough, there's nothing you can do. In the winter, you can put another log on the fire, you can grab another blanket, you can put on another coat, another beanie, another hat. There's always something you to do to get warmer. I much prefer the winter.
So when I get my battery-powered socks out when it gets cold enough.
There you go.
I do have battery-powered socks that came with rechargeable batteries, and they are the greatest thing ever because you charge them bad boys up, and you got 8 hours of power on low, and they just keep your feet nice and toasty.
I always have those little hand warmers, the little crunch things, and you stick them in your pockets. Those are some of my favorites. We got those in Chicago when I was in the Navy. So yeah, walk around outside and it's like negative 30 degrees, and you're stuck wearing a pea coat.
Zippo makes something based off of that now, where it's just powered by lighter fluid or whatever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're lighting a controlled fire in a metal canister you keep in your pockets. So use your own best judgment as to whether that's a good idea, I suppose.
But if anybody knows how to do it, it's Zippo.
I mean, that is true.
They've been lighting shit on fire for a year.
I mean, hell, this is how you pivot. As less and less people are smoking and whatnot, less and less people need the lighters.
Yeah, that's weird. I hadn't heard of that.
What do I know, though? But on that note, I think that does wrap us up for this week. Like I mentioned, short show because we're down a man and it's been a long week. We're
Yep.
recovering from having taken a week off. So we did about 50 minutes when it's all said and done here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed yourselves. Don't forget, we do this show live on Thursdays right now, 8 p.m. Eastern, over at GonnaGeek.com/live. That is the streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. If you're there right now, I strongly encourage you to go check out some of the other great shows on the network and tell them that we sent you. If you want to chat with us or the other members of the Gonna Geek Network, we do have a Discord server. It's open to everyone. It's a pretty chill, laid back, calm place, and we haven't had much problem with trolls or spammers. Head over to GonnaGeek.com/Discord. You can become part of our community there. There's a channel there for each of the network podcasts, in addition to some generic channels like TV and movies, video games, podcasting tips, tech deals, things like that. There's a pretty healthy community there. We welcome you guys to come join us. Before we shut this thing down, Bachman, you got any final thoughts for the people?
I need dinner.
I mean, on that note, then, he needs some dinner. I need to go clean up some dishes from making dinner earlier. So we are going to shut this thing down, and we will see you all next week. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at Incompetech.com.